Okay, today we're going to talk about clinging to the truth in the context, of course, of looking at all things related to nuclear. Clinging to the truth means that you look at facts, you look at the best evidence around you, you apply critical thinking to get beyond your wishful thinking or your ideological filters or life experience filters like normality bias. And just basically, again, that's what it's all about. Why is that important? Well, because our ideology, our wishful thinking, and our concept of what is normal, because it's never happened before and never will happen again, can get us in trouble in both in understanding the severity of the situation, the risk of the situation, or coping with a situation in the first place. We do this for various reasons. First of all, critical thinking and is requires you to be self-aware of your own biases and try and get as best one can beyond those things. And of course, normality balance. Well, bias says, well, this has never happened before. It's hard to kind of imagine a situation sometimes when it is happening. How when what is inconceivable, try and make that conceivable, and what would happen. What could trigger a nuclear war? How will it play out? How will it impact me in whatever city I'm living in, or town? And then just carry that on for that business. And it is hard. I mean, it's easy. For example, if wishful thinking, oh, Russia's nukes will never work. That's because the thought of them working and the thought of a war happening where they are launched and what that will impact upon you is so horrific, you don't want to deal with it. So you make an excuse, well, I'll never have to deal with it because the Russians nukes don't work, or I will never have to deal with it because the Russians will back down because we've crossed all these red lines before, what they call red lines, and they haven't done anything. So why will they do anything in the future? You're betting your life on that because you don't want to contemplate the consequences of the Russians having nukes and using them, in a preemptive strike or whatever. Then you have to deal with all of that, and that's harsh, or rather not. So either they don't work or they'll never use them, and that's okay, and we can comfortable with that. So then you apply that sort of ideologically too. Sometimes you start making decisions because, okay, rather than what's pragmatic, what do we do in this situation? No, it's the honor of our side, be it Russia or be it America or China or whomever, North Korea, that our honor is better. And interestingly enough, Khrushchev, who actually did make the right decision and managed to work an arrangement where he would pull the missiles out of Cuba during the Cuban Missile Crisis, and ended up losing his job because of it, because he was accused of failing to protect the honor of the Soviet Union. His remark was, as I watch in my dying eyes, something to the effect, I'm paraphrasing, the ruin of the United States and the USSR, would I be comforted by knowing that I preserved the honor of the Soviet Union? So there he said that, and that's true. That's where you have to go beyond your ideology and beyond, we're right and we have to be right, to let's be more pragmatic about this. I mean, is it worth? I mean, and do a proper risk assessment of trying to push whatever we're pushing. And there so far we've been lucky that way. People have known what they can do and have done a risk assessment and been correct. And it's not to say that we just give in or surrender or let the other side do what they want. No, we are fully entitled to push back, and we're full. But as we do so, we have to look at what are the consequences, and can we find a common ground, a compromise position where we can both live with it. In the Cuban Missile Crisis, it was the common ground was, okay, we don't want a thermonuclear war that kills hundreds of millions of our people, so we'll pull our missiles out of Cuba, and you can pull your missiles out of Turkey. And so they found a compromise, and we averted the nuclear war. And so we always have to be cognizant of how far you can push and what would be the breaking point. At what point would say, one side or the other snap? What would Putin have to do to make NATO snap? What would NATO have to do to make Putin snap? or Z snap. So you have to sort of like be very aware, be able to put yourself in the other person's foot. In fact, Sun Tzu, whose book The Art of War is probably the definitive text on that, said, if you will win if you know both yourself and your enemy. And essentially, that is if you understand all aspects of it. So again, what does this mean? Well, I've encountered, and why am I even doing this? Well, I encountered it in some of the comments I get, and fair enough, you're entitled to your opinion, you're entitled to speak your opinion. I'm not afraid of your opinion. I'll just present my counter arguments. But saying that, well, Hiroshima, Nagasaki, the bomb was necessary. My grandfather said if it wasn't for the bomb, he would have had to invade Japan. That's what I was thinking. uh, did you actually? This was on Reddit, not on YouTube. Did you actually watch the whole thing? Did you go to the sources that I listed in the description? Hello. Again, sometimes it blinds you to that and says you don't have to agree with it, but you have to acknowledge the fact that okay, let's go. You can go to the sources and you say, well, and then you can counter what the sources are. And in fact, somebody did actually make a good comment around that fact. Well, although LeMay said the bomb was unnecessary, he says, well, I believe LeMay was always chomping at the bit to use nuclear weapons. Yeah, but in this case, in this specific case, he said it was unnecessary because his strategic bombing campaign was working quite well. But yes, but he also down the line he said, "Why we shouldn't use nukes here." He kept on saying we should use nukes. So I mean, good counter argument, and that's cool. I'm open to good counter arguments. So if you were to look at something I say or some source and say, "Well, this other source or this other thing says that," yeah, cool, that's great. Let's have a debate. But again, back to me more personally, I will do everything I can to go to source documents and quotes from people of that era or close to it if I'm talking history. If I'm talking more contemporary technical things, I will go to sources around, what nuclear weapons are out there, the best thinking on protecting yourself from nuclear weapons, and as best we know, because I mean we haven't had a global thermonuclear war, so there are a lot of like known unknowns. Are we going to have a Carl Sagan-like nuclear winter that kills off most of the population of the planet Earth, or are we going to have a nuclear fall that will kill a lot of people, but will not be as destructive? Who knows? We haven't had that yet. I mean, I can make a case for one side, and somebody else can make a case for the other side. But since we haven't gone through it, we don't know. So there that is. But like I said, I'll do everything I can to stick to source documents, source quotes, experts' opinion when I continue to make this channel, because I do believe in being clinging to the truth and using my critical thinking as best I can. So bye for now.